So this video here might seem a little out of order, but after I did this job I realized this is going to be the fastest, most efficient way to do it. Also the safest, because you won't be working underneath the engine with just your cherry picker holding it, you know, just in case that thing does fail. And it makes it easier so you're not going underneath the engine, underneath the car with the cherry picker legs in the way. And then this way you don't have to set up a jack first and then set up the cherry picker. So the next thing that is easiest to do is just go underneath the car and get all the bolts that you need to go under the car in order to get them. And then after that, set up the cherry picker and then do everything from the top. So there's just a few more things to do from the bottom. There's one bolt, or that's actually a nut, that you need to get from the bottom that is for the engine mount. There's the torque converter bolts. There's 4 bolts on the bottom that connect the transmission to the engine, the bell housing bolts. If you're just, some of the transmissions only have 3 on the bottom. I think the 2-wheel drives one do. Mine has 4. There's also, besides those 4 that are right on the bottom, there's 2 more up from those that are actually easiest to get from the bottom too. I didn't show them in this video, but they are easier to get from the bottom. There's one around the back. You can reach way up, like if you kind of sit up, you can get that. And the one on the front is easier to get from the bottom too, so I'd recommend doing those. And then there's also the AC compressor is held on by 4 bolts. You need to get the belt, the serpentine belt off, and you need to get the engine mount off in order to get the serpentine belt off. So that's why it's easier to do it in this order. But there's 2 bolts on the bottom, easier to get from underneath. Just get those 2 off first. It'll hold the AC compressor in place fine, I think, before you get the belt off. So just do those first. And then there's actually another bolt on the bottom of this. It's like totally hidden. You can see on the new one here, it comes out there, so there's going to be a bolt on the bottom. Okay, so you're kind of going to have to get this thing from underneath. It was not working trying to get it on top. To get at it, you're going to want to remove this plastic shield that's right here. These clips you should have removed already to get the splash guard off, and then there's just 2 up here, and that'll help you get up there easier. You actually don't need too long of an extension, because you can stick, you just need the ratchet to get down here. And yeah, now you can see where the bolt is right there. So yeah, if you have like 8 inches of extensions, that's fine. Just put these 2 together. And then you're gonna need a deep 14mm socket, and then you can get to it no problem. So to separate the transmission, there's a little cover here. It's a little plastic cover. It basically just kind of falls out. And you want to rotate the crankshaft until you see the bolts in there, and you remove the bolts. I think there's 6 in total. And the crank is right here. Turning the engine by the crank bolt to get the torque converter bolts off, you want to turn it clockwise. I mean, since we're replacing it, it doesn't really matter on the old engine, but when you're putting the new one in, the owner's manual says to turn it clockwise like you're tightening it. There's one of the bolts right there that gets removed, so you just rotate it all the way around until all the bolts are removed. Yes, there will be 6 in total. I don't know why my car had one black one. I don't think it matters. When you go to loosen it, the thing will kind of spin, but the ratchet will just hit up against like the far right side of it and just stay in place, and you can get them out. So I'm going to remove the bolts on the bottom. The transmission, there's 4 of them on mine. Yours might have 3. I think some of them have 3, maybe if it's the 2-wheel drive. And it might have been smarter to do this before putting the lift here, just because the legs wouldn't be in the way. But not too big of a deal. Getting the AC compressor off. I believe there are 4 bolts and 2 on the bottom, I'm pretty sure.